Good morning. Lots of weather here, so we'll hope that let's all hold the thought that the signal holds. I'll give you a quick tour. It's been raining all day. This is actually the lightest it's been all day. Okay. Oh, I haven't looked at my face this morning. I did slap on some lipstick, of course. Now my daughter's selling Beauty Counter, you guys, so you have two Beauty Counter resources. I'll just use you as my mirror. I do that a lot. I just get up, put my hair up, and don't look at my face. I don't even think about it really anymore. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if I've got totally accepting of whatever my face looks like in any given moment, or just totally lazy. It's up for debate. Okay. So this is the last week of the presence process, and I would strongly encourage you to do this again, to go back through the videos and just search them. I think in Facebook groups there's a video tab. You can see all the videos, so I would really recommend continuing to use this process for the rest of your life. Because the more present we are, the better our life works. The more we're able to achieve goals, the more we're able to feel good, no matter where we are in our state of existence, the more clarity we have on our addictive tendencies. We all have addictive tendencies. There are very few people who live present to all the things that go on inside. And maintaining maintaining a practice of intentional breathing is probably one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. So let's take a look at week 10. I'll probably do a wrap up next week, so let's keep our standing Wednesday time. Good morning, and we'll do read a little bit from the fourth part of the book. Actually, there's such a great list of what happens for you when you stay with this practice. We'll go over that list next Wednesday because it's so good. And it's really encouraging. Like, it's not easy to stay with this practice. So I had a client conversation this morning, and I was like, I'll just warn you, this work isn't easy. And yeah, Ginger, I think I'll do it the rest of my, well, I know I'll do it the rest of my life because I already do. And it just changes me all the time. So this work is not easy, and it's the only pathway to freedom that I know works every single time you do it long enough. Part of the problem is people don't give it long enough. So Ginger just said some weeks were really tough. Yeah, and a lot of people give up during the tough weeks, and so they don't stay with it long enough to see the subtle results that happen. Breath work and meditation are not a quick fix. We want a quick fix. We want a pill. We want to feel better right away. And when we don't feel better right away through our meditation practice, we can get really frustrated. There's a little hummingbird just landed on our fence out there. He's like taking a bath in the rain. So cute. Which reminds me I need to change their sugar water. So sitting and breathing for 5 to 15 minutes a day, plus making a commitment to stay with your breath when you feel anxiety, sounds boring, right? Our mind wants something fancier and flashier and more glittery and more complicated, and we want 15 steps to peace when all you need for peace is to sit down and choose it, and then deal with the reasons why you don't feel comfortable being peaceful. When we have addictive tendencies, which I do believe most of us do to one degree or another, we're constantly running from that anxiety. and the fear that we can't handle our own feelings. So we can get more and more sophisticated in how we do that, and we can trick ourselves into thinking that we're actually doing some really hard work toward our goals, when what we're actually doing is just getting more and more sophisticated with how we avoid our own anxiety. We're avoiding anxiety. Yeah, so do it again. So we're constantly, so anyway, the basic practice is 5 to 15 minutes of meditation a day, and then circular breathing when you feel anxiety in the pit of your stomach, when you feel like a brick has been put on your heart, when you feel like you want to run away and you want to use whatever your drug of choice is. You just want it to stop, okay? That's when you need to breathe. When you want something to stop, start breathing. Okay, I have a cat in my lap, so he's a little distracting. All the animals are nervous because of the bear who's like circling the property and coming on the property and stuff. I have like all these needy animals, 8 needy animals. I'm like, I can't meet all your needs. You guys are going to have to just deal with the anxiety of the bear. If I could teach them a breathing practice, I would. Okay, cause and effect states that what we seek, we find, and what we ask for, we receive. This automatic and unfaltering consequence is that we always see exactly what we're looking for. If we're looking for conflict, we'll find it. If we're looking for poverty, we'll find it. If we're looking for peace and acceptance, we'll find that. But we'll find it in ourselves first. Then we'll find it in the outer world. Good morning. This means our life and the way we experience it is an ongoing answer to questions we continually ask, and an ongoing revelation of what we're actually seeking. And the reason this isn't more obvious is that most of our seeking and asking takes place unconsciously, driven by those unintegrated emotions. That's all it is, remember? That's been the message throughout this whole book. Things happened when we were kids and we couldn't feel them. We couldn't feel them enough in our body to process them and transform them. And that's all that's happening now, is our outer world triggers our familiar bad feeling, and then it's our job to sit down and breathe circularly, in, out, in, out, in, out, not to the point of hyperventilation, but just an easy, no gaps in your in-breath and out-breath, and let that feeling rise and feel where you feel it in the body. Does it make your stomach hurt? Does it make your legs itch? Does it make your hands twitch? Does it make you break out in a sweat? Does it make you feel like you're having a heart attack? Just keep breathing through it. Whenever we don't feel in harmony, it's our responsibility to integrate the condition that's the cause of our disharmony. When we don't feel good, there's something that needs our breath. It needs our attention, and it needs us to breathe with it, through it. A key benefit of this presence process is it gives us the opportunity to live on purpose within the unified field of the human experience. And how I would boil that down, or bottom line that, is the benefit of staying with your breath is you get to choose. You choose. Okay, I'm losing signal, looks like. My video stopped and then looks like it restarted. If you could like tap the heart button or something, let me know if you can see me or hear me. Okay, it looks like I might be totally gone. So I'm going to try and come back this afternoon or in the morning when our weather is better. Oh, you're still there. Okay, good. There may just be a lag and some freezing. Okay. So, okay, thank you. Right on. What this is doing is updating our perception of life. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we think people are out to get us. Here's an example. We think everyone's out to just get over on us, to fool us, to trick us, to get something from us. As long as we feel that feeling, we will experience that in our relationships. What we need to do is the next person that shows up that puts us into an alarm state, that makes us feel like, what are you after? Like, what are you trying to get from me? Is to treat that person as the messenger and then feel into, how does that make me feel when I think someone is trying to trick me? What do I feel? Do I feel fear? Am I afraid I'm going to be betrayed? Again. Am I afraid that I'm going to be overwhelmed? Like, what am I feeling? The minute you can go right to the core of what you're feeling and stay with it. Even put a hand on the part of your body that feels it, like your stomach. Usually it's in our stomach, or our heart, or your throat might seize up. If you can even just put a hand on that part as you take some deep breaths, and just remind yourself that you're not going to die from a feeling. A feeling is not going to kill you, I promise. You'll think you're dying. You'll want to run away. You'll want to go eat something or use something or go watch TV. You'll want to shut it down. But if you feel it, if you'll let yourself just feel it and just recognize it's just a feeling. And feeling is just an energy. It's just a thing. It's just a sensation. It's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. It won't hurt you in any way. What hurts you is your mind taking you out of feeling the feeling. That's where your injury is repetitively occurring, keeping this repetition compulsion anchored in place. It's your mind that's causing you pain. It's your mind that's trying to protect you from the feelings. It's not bad. You don't have to try and get rid of your mind. But you have to understand that your mind's job is to keep you safe, and this is a distortion of safety. Avoiding your feelings is not actually keeping you safe, but our minds are limited in their understanding and ability to process what safety actually means. Safety actually means that no feeling is threatening you. It works for some people. Tapping works for some people. For some people, they can use it as a distraction. Instead of feeling and staying with the feeling, they start tapping. La, 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 I don't want to. I'm overwhelming by the feeling, so I'm going to tap to get rid of the feeling. If you're tapping and you go more into the feeling, then that's resolution. If you're tapping as a distraction from the feeling, then that's just your mind's very sophisticated way of taking you away from the feeling again. So it's our mind that keeps us stuck in an endless loop. It's not the feeling, it's the fear of feeling the feeling. It's this distorted function that we think if we sit and feel the feeling of drowning, that we are literally going to drown, and we are literally not drowning. First of all, you're nowhere near water, dirt. Second of all, no one ever died from the feeling of drowning. They can die from what the feeling of the unintegrated feeling will cause them to do. That's behind, suicides. We know that from people who have survived their attempted suicides. We know that the mind, it will drive you to escape even through causing your own death. That's how severe it can get. That's like the far end of the mind trying to stop you stop the feeling. So look at whatever your behaviors are, whether we call them healthy or therapeutic or addiction, look at all your behaviors and ask yourself, am I using this behavior in a subtle way to not feel something? Am I using constant creation of drama as a way to not feel my fear that things might never be okay? Am I going to therapy for years because I can talk to my therapist for 10 years and never actually have to feel the feeling? Yeah, it's like a simple answer to a complicated system of behaviors that we develop that get really subtle and sophisticated. We're smart. We're not dumb. We know we're not supposed to hit the crack pipe. So instead, we obsess about something else. And we call that better. And it is better in that it won't kill you, but it's not better in the sense that you never then get to experience resolution. The point is, patterns should not stay patterns. If you have an incident that happened 20 years ago and you can't talk about it today without crying or having an emotional response to it that triggers tears or fears, then it's not resolved. If you still talk about an old incident and people around you can hear the bitterness in your voice, it's not resolved. You may think you've dealt with it, but people will let you know, you still have a tone. If you still have a tone, it's not resolved. And you need to go back and breathe through the feeling. I feel like I'm on a little bit of a soapbox. I think I get soapboxy because this matters so much to me. I want to feel freedom, and I want that for you. That's my... This feels good to me. I want you to feel good too. So I just hammer on and on about it. Okay, so... let me see what else I want to say. Okay, living on purpose. We may believe that our life purpose is something to do, that it's an action. We may believe that if we figure out what we are supposed to do with our special calling and gift, we will experience balance, harmony, and fulfillment. We may believe that discovering our life purpose equals peace. So you can hear that a lot. Like, if I could just find out what my purpose is, if I could just find out what's my reason for being here. What if there is no reason? What if there's nothing for you to do except be authentically yourself and experience life from that place and find some joy in your day-to-day existence? Find some joy in the raising of your children or whatever job you go to. What if that's the only reason that you're here? And what if even that is not a reason? You can play with that stuff to kind of shred some holes in that thought that you have. If you don't have a specific reason for being here, then why are you here? Like, that can be a real obsessive trap people can get into too. The idea that our purpose in being alive is found in something we're supposed to do is a misunderstanding that originates in childhood. It's a misunderstanding passed on as a part of ancient belief systems that are energetically imprinted in us from all the generations that come before us. What are we constantly asking little kids? And I catch myself doing it too, and then I slap a hand over my mouth. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you grow up? Can we just let them be 4 years old today? Can we just let the sole purpose of their existence be to play in the lake and pour sand on our heads? Like, can that be enough? The root cause of this misconception is really simple. Because we're not unconditionally... Yes, you are, Ginger. The idea that we aren't unconditionally... No, wait a minute. Okay. Because we aren't unconditionally loved for what we already are, each of us as unique expressions of presence or source or God, we attempt to figure out what we must do to become deserving of unconditional love. Do you hear the subtle twist in that? It's anchored in that thing that we have to do something to be approved of. We have to do and behave and perform according to our parents' and our peers' expectations in order to have that sense of being loved and belonging. That's a misunderstanding. You don't have to do anything. You can live in the gutter with a needle in your arm and be every bit as worthy as Mother Teresa. Because it's not what you do. It's that you are here as an individualized expression of the larger all that is. That's enough. This feeling that we're not enough drives this anxiety that there's something that we should be doing. And if we're not doing it, then we're a failure and a big loser, and no one's ever going to love us, and we're going to go and have to go in the woods and die. You know, we always trace it back to, I'm going to get kicked out and I'm going to die. When we're not unconditionally loved as children, and none of us were, we become uncomfortable. We're uncomfortable with ourselves because we perceive ourselves as wrong, and that if we just figure out what is wrong and do all the right things, then we'll have peace and harmony. Then we'll have all the love we want. This sets off a chain of consequences in which we're continually seeking something that would enable us to feel peace with what we already are. And we can never get there. We set out on a search for what we're supposed to do. We look for systems of rules. This is the trap for all of us, where we buy the program that says 7 easy steps to blah, blah, blah. Or if you'll just, even this book, 10 weeks to freedom. 10 weeks to unconditional love. Well, that's not true, right? This is a lifetime practice. Just your existence is enough, Betty. Yeah. This pressure of thinking that my life as it is not enough is driving us insane. It drives us to reach for more and more and more, thinking that we're going to get the prize at the end. When we find the answer, we'll get the prize. That's reinforced with us in school all the time. If you get the right answer, you'll get the right grade. If you get the right grade, your parents will be happy. If your parents will be happy, then you can be happy, and then you'll go to college, and then you'll find a job, marry, have babies, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't that make you exhausted even just to think about that? Jesus, fuck. It's just not that. It's not that. And that is so ingrained in us that we can hardly even see it. It makes no difference what you do. You can be a Nobel Prize winner, you can be a bagger at the grocery store, and your value has equal worth. Your value, your life has equal value. If you're middle class white America, you're no more special than someone growing up in the projects living the third generation of food stamp life. There's no difference there except in our minds. Oh, that person's a piece of shit because la la la, and they're a drain on society, and they're why my taxes are too high, and they're why I can't be a millionaire. Bullshit. The amount of taxes you pay has zero to do with how much money you make. Zero. Absolutely nothing. Being on public assistance or being a millionaire has nothing to do with what an awesome person you are. Except for our heads that want everybody to be separate. The presence process sets out to accomplish, if the presence process, the breathing practice, sets out to accomplish anything, it's this. It facilitates us in rescuing ourselves from an endless, unconscious array of doings. And in the same breath, invites us to return to the awareness of what we already are. What you want from me, I can't give you. What you want from the people around you, they literally cannot give it to you. They can give you a version of it, their version of it, because what we think we're getting from other people is always run through a filter. If they're giving us what we want, they're good. If they're not giving us what we want, they're bad. Like, we're always filtering that. And again, there's nothing wrong with any of this, but you'll have a better time of it if you can dive underneath that and fill the emptiness inside yourself with your connection to your breath, which then connects you to the awareness of the unified field. That oneness is the only thing that resolves that emptiness inside. 100%. Until we discover how to stop and take a connected breath, we're lost. Until we discover how to stop and breathe enough days in a row to feel that connection, to feel it in your body, that connection to your source, to the bigger part of you, we're lost. We're lost in craving. We're lost in searching. You'll continually search and continually obsess on something out there until you figure out how to stop it and just sit with your breathing and feel the part of you that wants to obsess on out there. What are you always thinking about? Is it a person? Is it a condition? Are you always thinking about, how am I going to make money? How much money do I have? How much money do I need? How much money do I want? How do I get more? How do I achieve this? How do I achieve that? Where's my marker? When will someday I'll be good enough? That's a prison that you've made out of your own head. You're trapped inside your own mind, dancing around this emptiness that can only be filled when you meet it head on. And it's not for the faint of heart. So this process invites us to stop, connect our breathing, and respond to what we already are through the resonance of the present by integrating what's past. We're already complete. We're already perfect. Nothing we do improves on what we already are. There's nothing to become other than being present in our current experience just as it is now. There's frequently a discussion of another side. I'm going to get to the other side. I'm going to do the breakthrough and I'm going to get on the other side. What do you think is on the other side? On the other side is just then another side and another side and another side. So your whole life you're trying to break through. That's a song. Break on through to the other side. You all know that one, don't you? Who sings that song? Break on through to the other side. Oh, is it Deep Purple? No, that sounds wrong. Who is it? Who sings that song? It's so funny. There's no other side. There's no end. There's no end to the story. When there's an end to the story, there's a new story that starts on the next page. So if you can stop that thought pattern, that I'm doing this to get to the other side, I'm doing this to get to the end of the story, I'm doing this to get to the resolution, if you can let go of that process, you will set yourself free. Spinning in circles will not move you forward because there is no forward to move to. Ooh, it's so hard. Oh, our brains hate this. Our mind hates this. What do you mean there's no forward? What do you mean there's no answer? What do you mean there's no report card? The doors, Betty. Oh my God. I feel like I need to lose my my rock and roll card. My kid of the 70s, late 60s and 70s card. How could I forget that? Yes, the doors. I hate to break it to you, but this is all there is. This is all there is. You know that movie? I love that scene in that movie, As Good as It Gets. When Jack Nicholson's character is like busts into the waiting room at his shrink's office and says, what if this is as good as it gets? What if this is as good as it gets? What if this is it? Is that such a bad thing? And if it is such a bad thing, that's where your work is. Why isn't this enough? Eckhart Tolle says that. Ask yourself, how come, what's so bad about this moment that you'll spend so much energy trying to escape it only to find yourself in the next moment? This can make your brain hurt and actually give you a headache. We get to make our decisions, right? We can either accept it We can change it. We can let it go. We really only have a few options. We can accept what is. We can get up and take an action and leave. There's just a few things that we can do. But the rejection of this moment is what is keeping you stuck in this moment where you're always asking, where is peace? Where is harmony? Where is love? Show me the money? Show me the love. No one can show it to you. It's inside. I can tell you my brain hates this. And I found last night when I was not sleeping, I found a couple of areas where I'm still stuck in addictive thinking patterns that I didn't consciously really get how much they are filling my mind during the day. Like how much my mind is filled with a couple of subjects that I'm just grinding on every day. Every fucking day. Grind, 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 grind. Stuck between third and fourth gear. Pretty soon that's going to be a terrible analogy because so many people don't know how to drive a stick shift. I'm going to have to find something different. I'll have to think of a different one for being stuck. Okay, so as you do the presence process, as you stick with this, which is so simple, you get those awarenesses. Those things start to filter up to your consciousness like, holy shit. I've been doing a daily practice now for 3 years, and I'm just now seeing that I have 2 subjects that I'm deeply embedded on grinding every day. I'm grateful for that. When I caught it, I was like, fuck. Shit. All day? This is what's making me miserable? These 2 subjects all day? If I'm not grinding on one, I'm grinding on the other? Come on now. The daily grind. Yeah, it is the daily grind. Yeah. I have a couple of daily grinds. But that's the gift you get. That's the gift you give yourself. Is you taking the time to build, to do this cumulative day after day practice that then lets you know from evidence outside and sudden awarenesses of what's going inside exactly where you're trapped, exactly what is sapping your happiness, and gives you the tools to get through what your current experience is. We stop escaping. That book, Pema Chodron, is one of the best books I think ever written. The Wisdom of No Escape. When the hot restlessness grabs you by the throat and you want to run, you don't. You stay put. You stay with your breath. You won't let yourself leave. That's how I'm saying lately that this is the end of victim thinking. Because you won't let yourself off the hook. You don't. You choose. I'm not going to let myself run away anymore. I'm not going to let myself sidestep this through addictive behavior. I refuse to engage in this ridiculous illusion. I'm going to love the parts of me that think this is keeping me safe, and also I'm not doing it anymore. So we took the girls a couple of weeks ago to the Winnie the Pooh exhibit, which is fabulous. If the Winnie the Pooh exhibit ever crosses your area, go see it. It's so good. But I bought I bought a piglet, a stuffed piglet, and I have it in my car because fear is what I've been dealing with lately, because it's like my core thing that I've avoided for 50 years. I don't like dealing with fear. I don't like it. I really don't. I can handle anything else, but these 2 subjects that I found are the last bastion of sidestepping behaviors around not wanting to feel fear. So I got this piglet and I put it in the passenger seat. People are going to think I'm nuts driving if they notice that there's a stuffed piglet sitting in the passenger seat of my car. But I could give a shit about that. But it's a reminder, like, fear Little piglet, you get to be with me and I get to be aware of you, but you no longer get to drive my car. I say no to that. I say yes to the feeling, but no to the behaviors. I acknowledge the feeling and refuse the behavior that comes on the heels of the feeling. The only behavior that's allowed during a feeling is the breath work. That's it. That's the only behavior that's allowed. Okay, I'm going to stop there because the lag is getting really long. So I have all these notifications popping in, and I know that creates even more lag. Plus, I'm done. I'm done talking. Okay, so go do some breathing today. Whatever you feel today, breathe and see what happens. You have nothing to lose. Breathing is free. It doesn't cost you anything. No one ever died from a feeling, and you can sit and breathe through it. And then listen for what you're doing that's keeping you stuck. I just put myself out of a job. There you go. That's your 4-month coaching package in 15 minutes. Okay? So, if you're in a referral mood, Betty, I'm an Eeyore for sure. My familiar bad feeling is Eeyore personified. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with Eeyore. I get Eeyore and Pooh, because I can get in a Pooh state where I just drift along and everything's fine. And okay, all right. Refer, please. If you run across people who are struggling, refer them to this group. Let them know about clarity sessions. Let them know about Forest Reiki. Businesses live on referrals, and I live on holding sessions. And I had one session this morning, but I don't have anything scheduled the rest of the week. So book it up, pass it on. You need Eeyore and Piglet. Winnie the Pooh is the best for creating a character. Rabbit is who I'm becoming Rabbit and Piglet is who I'm becoming friends with. Okay, love you so much. We'll talk to you next week. We'll do a wrap up, and then we'll figure out, think about where you want to go from here. Is there something you want to study, something you want to revisit, something you want to spend a few weeks on? Just let me know. Okay, bye.